Committing to carnivore, that's one of the best decisions I've made. But traveling, especially for work, well, that's a whole new animal. Between airports, work dinners, and company happy hours, I had to get creative and lock in order to maintain control over my meals. I just got back from a 5-day work trip to sunny San Francisco where I put my carnivore commitment to the test. What worked, what didn't, and what I'll do differently next time. Let's carve in. Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome to Blood and Butter. If you're serious about the carnivore diet, you know it's about more than just what's on your plate. It's about making it work in real life. Traveling while on carnivore isn't just about picking the right food. It's about navigating social pressures, work events, and staying on track when everything around you is working against you. So in this video, I'll break down how I handled my trip, what worked, what didn't, and what you can take away from it when you're planning your own travels. But before we get into the food, let's talk about why I was traveling in the first place. So, I'm traveling for work, 5 days in San Francisco. Unlike personal travel, which is already pretty tough, I didn't have control over my schedule. The meals are planned weeks in advance. I'm seeing people that I love and I'm excited to spend time with. I want to be able to enjoy my social time and go to the happy hours and spend time with them. You just wind up in a lot of situations where temptation is rampant and carbs and booze are flowing. For anyone on carnivore, no matter how long you've been doing it, that's a tough spot. I knew I was going to have to be very intentional if I wanted to stay on track. At home, my diet is super simple. I eat fatty cuts of steak, ground beef, eggs, bacon, a little bit of dairy products. I cook with butter and tallow that I make myself with my wife. Basically, I control everything that goes into my body. But on the road, things get tricky. Here are my biggest concerns. 1, finding carnivore-friendly meals. What if restaurants don't have any options? 2, hidden ingredients. Sauces, seasonings, and especially seed oils. These are all things I can avoid completely at home. And 3, social pressures. There's group dinners, there's happy hours, and I don't want to field a million questions about why aren't you eating? Why aren't you drinking? Do you have some kind of dietary restriction? Basically, a million questions about why I'm being the weird one. Work trips make things even harder because it's not just about what you eat, but what's expected of you. Rigid schedules. I couldn't just decide when and where to eat. Lunch and dinner are planned ahead for us. And usually, especially with lunch, it's just quick grab and go options, a salad, a sandwich. And there's not a lot of time, especially if you didn't plan ahead, to go find a place where you're gonna be able to find some options that'll work. It's not ideal for the fasted carnivore. Social expectations. People notice if you're not eating, if you're not drinking. And I like these people. The temptation to join in, celebrate our successes, catch up over a meal or drinks is really real. 3rd is the lack of high-fat options. Restaurants mostly serve lean meat, which is not good for satiety. And if you do a dairy, finding a single serving of cheese or butter or other fats that are easy to have at home are tougher to find. And 4, you have no control over the cooking method. Everything is cooked in seed oil because it's cheap, and convincing a busy kitchen to cook something special in butter just for you, it's a tough ask at a busy restaurant. I knew that I'd have to be disciplined and creative to make this work. All right, let's skip the spoilers. Despite all those challenges, I did manage to stick to carnivore. Here's what worked for me. Fasting strategically. If there weren't good options, I just didn't eat. I already fast for about 16 hours a day here at home, and so if there weren't any good options, I waited till there were. Now, breakfast in particular, it's the easiest meal to skip. I already mostly fast from 8 in the evening to noon the next day, and there's just not that many carnivore-friendly options. Eggs, I don't trust hotels and restaurants not to cook eggs in vegetable oils. And the big thing for me, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, is bacon and sausage, especially if you can't get your eyes on the nutrition label. I don't trust that there's not sugar in them. And dinners, no issue. I sat, drank water, enjoyed my colleagues' company, and found dinner afterwards. The lack of blood sugar crashes and carb cravings made skipping meals pretty effortless. Ordering safe and simple food options. I mostly stuck to steak, fish, burger patties, and eggs when it was an option. 3, fast food. This is a good time to mention that fast food is kind of clutch when you're traveling. Contrary to popular conspiracy theories, most fast food restaurants do use all beef patties for their burgers. Now, what part of the cow? That's up for debate. But honestly, sliding in and grabbing a pound full of beef patties, sometimes with cheese, when you're out of better options can be a really good choice. Handling bar time. Okay, this one was tough. I love drinking. I have since I was a teenager, and I really wanted to go have drinks with all of my old friends and colleagues, but I didn't cave. I ordered sparkling water, plain, no lemon, no lime, nothing, in a cocktail glass to avoid a million questions about why I'm not drinking. We all have our own relationship with alcohol. Mine's been tough at times, but I'm honestly really proud of being able to navigate these situations without needing to drink. I never would have achieved this without the carnivore diet. Okay, so I had a lot of wins. You're probably thinking, Joe, you're making this look so easy. Well, think again, mister. No, not everything was perfect, but that's okay. A big part of this trip was just surviving, compromising where I had to. That said, here's where I struggled. Number one, boom, not enough fat. Almost every meal I had at a restaurant was too lean. Bacon was overcooked, all the fat cooked out of it. And burger patties were mostly lean ground beef patties, not hitting the fat to protein ratio that I prefer. And after a few days, I could feel it. My energy dipped, I felt crummy, and my sleep took a bit of a hit. At home, I get a solid 7 to 8 hours, and by day 3, I was getting 5 or 6. Next, hidden seed oils. Well, not that hidden. See, I'll say it again, seed oils are cheap and restaurants love them. Plus, most people have been lied to about how they're not that bad for you. It's honestly really hard to ignore that basically everything at restaurants is cooked with them. Even when I order carnivore friendly foods, I know they are just drenched in these garbage oils. Part of my reality with this trip was just accepting that I would have a little bit more inflammation from these oils than normal, and I was just ready to be okay with that. But part of the bigger theme with this whole thing is not just throwing my hands up and saying, okay, well, if I have to have some seed oils, might as well have a beer and a burger, some pizza, I don't know, cheesecake, whatever. Compromise where you can afford to, and where you can't, don't. Only you know where you can afford to be lenient. And last, just feeling suboptimal. Like I said, for a lot of reasons, I didn't feel my best. Digestion, energy, brain fog, sleep, they all took a hit. But it was 5 days, and honestly, I was fine. I just wasn't my normal, usual chipper self. So, where's that leave us? My wife's Filipino, my work's in California. I can't stay home forever. So here are some key things that I'll be focusing on next time. Number one, stocking up on essentials. My first stop when I land next time, grocery store. Getting some hard-boiled eggs, cheese, butter, particularly to supplement fat when I can't get enough of it, that's gonna be a big game changer for me. Fun fact, my mini fridge was hidden in what I thought was the dresser. So I didn't even know I had one till the last day. So number two, check for a mini fridge. Yeah, I probably should have figured this one out sooner, but jet lag. Yeah, let's blame jet lag. Bring carnivore friendly snacks. Look, I don't really subscribe to snacking at home anymore, which is crazy because back in the day, I literally wanted all that and the bag of chips. Damn you, Frito-Lay! Look, traveling on carnivore is hard. Bring snacks. I've heard Epic has really great meat snacks. There are carnivore bars now, and there's a number of snack options that you can make at home and bring with you. Fun fact, I actually make carnivore snacks at home now. Little bars and snack bites. They look like this, and they're amazing. Let me know down below if you're interested in learning how I make these with my wife, because these have come in clutch for us a lot, especially if you're a golfer. I bring these on the golf course now, and they're amazing. Anyway, I should have planned ahead better, but I didn't. In the future, here are some things I'll do to make my life easier. One, having a better plan. I think just planning things out is a way better approach in general. Number two, knowing which meals you're gonna have to skip by checking menus ahead of time. Number three, if there are group dinners, plan where you're gonna go after that group dinner to get something for yourself. If you check the menu, you know you can't have anything there, but you still wanna go spend time with the people around you, go, enjoy that. Just know where you're going after. Number four, structure your fast ahead of time. That way you know exactly when you'll be eating and when you won't be. Having an outline for when and what you'll eat is way better than just winging it. Lesson learned. So, how did all this affect me? Let's look at the numbers. I've been tracking my weight daily since I started Carnivore. The day before I left for my trip, I jumped on the scale in the morning and I was 366 pounds. I was gone for 5 days. The morning after I got back, I got on and 364.3. I'm actually incredibly surprised by that number. I have done a lot of diets in the last 20 years and I don't recall ever losing weight while traveling. Typically, you gain weight and even if you get right back to it, it comes off quickly, but I've never seen the scale lower when I got back than when I left. I am planning on making more progress updates in the future, so stick around if you want to see more videos about how I'm doing in general on the carnivore diet. So, that's how I survived my 5-day work trip on Carnivore. Was it perfect? No. Did I make it work? Yeah, absolutely. And if you've got a trip coming up, hopefully this helps you plan ahead and stay on track without losing your mind. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the hardest part about staying carnivore while traveling? Drop a comment below. I want to hear about your struggles, your wins, and maybe what's the weirdest carnivore meal you've had to put together on the road. Again, I'm going to keep making videos on my carnivore journey, what's working, what's not, and what I've kind of learned along the way. So if you want to follow along, hit subscribe, tap the like button. It helps more people find this info, and let's be real, sticking to this way of eating isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. I appreciate you watching. See you next time.